Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
So the general thing about Texas is they do everything bigger, and they're like a different country in itself. Leander, did you find everything in Texas over Dallas this weekend to be bigger?
Well, the food portion sizes were a lot smaller, but
I would agree. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple places that they go bigger, but Texas Live, all their restaurants gave the smallest portions of food. We saw some potato skins that were like the size of your thumb, like they're like baby potato skins. It was crazy.
Yep.
Baby potato skins? As if
Baby?
potato skins weren't small enough?
Yeah, I will say that we went to their mall, and that mall was too big for its own good. Like it would. Has everyone been to Vegas here?
Yes.
No.
Leander? Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, Leander, when you go to Vegas, you have to walk through the Caesars Palace Mall, and it reminded me of the Caesars Palace Mall. It's just like a never-ending maze. I don't know where we were, but we went to Meow Wolf, and that shit was dope. So, I will say some things in Texas are bigger, but maybe not everything.
The food.
I will say that the Pathfinder win rate is definitely bigger in Texas. So a quick overview of today's episode. We have Leander Garrett, who is an amazing player, him and his whole family. Liam's already got his golden, and Mark and Leander are both in the hunt. They're also, you guys are also a part of Plasma Spam, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you guys are came out looking for it, and you almost took it. You got second place with Highlander Circle.
Yep.
Still impressive.
Mm-hmm. And then we had our dirty greater good boy. If you guys want to hear Chris Bakke about Pathfinders, listen to our episode 2 weeks ago. He won the entire event with Pathfinders. It's a very good episode, and he did it for the greater good. So yay, Chris.
Yeah, the instant he beat me in our last game for first place, he told me verbatim, "I hate Pathfinders. I only took them to get the golden ticket. I'm never playing them again."
Well, we'll have to see. Maybe he'll bring him back for the World Championship. The blue band group. You know what I mean? The blue band
group.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. In Meow Wolf, there were like these Taos, like dudes, like worshiping this giant corn demon goat. It was very interesting. They weren't real Tao, but they're definitely like blue liquid people. It was weird as fuck. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, man, you took Hyrotech and you jumped off Veteran Guardsman. That was your team. You're leaning into quite hard, Leander.
Yeah, because I really, really like Vet Guard, but after the nerfs, and I think you felt this a bit at the tournament, I just don't think Vet Guard can podium at a competitive GT.
Dang, they can't hang.
I would agree. I placed 6th overall. Even though I had a 4-3 record, it did go to brackets. Though my 3 losses were to Blaine from Six-Sided Legion. Brett from Six-Sided Legion, playing Hearthkin, and then to Orion and to Chris. So
those are some pretty good players.
Yeah, let's not lie. I also would have lost to you, so I don't think I would have beat anyone else in the top 8. I think I only got one win, which was against Robert Padan's Mandrakes, which we'll go over. I think they have some weaknesses, but I still think they're super strong. But first, we got to talk shit about Pathfinders. I mean, who here likes Pathfinders?
I do, but not for the reasons you're thinking. I couldn't take them to first place, you know?
Notice how our silence spoke louder than words, Joshua.
But then you decided to speak. You lost.
I think you spoke first. But yes, you're right. You're right.
You asked the question. I responded.
So how did your final game go down, Leander, against Chris? And was that your only Pathfinder player, or did you also play against Mike Cortez?
Thankfully, I did not have to play against two Pathfinders. It was only Chris's Pathfinders that I played against, and he kicked my ass. The final score was like 20-10 or something.
Similar to my score, because he kicked my ass at the top of the day.
Yep. Yeah, they're so good, man. And then especially on super shooty boards like the one we're on, they just marker light you up, and you can't really move up. They out-activate you, so you can't really play the game, and it's really hard.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's the maps at this event, while good, they definitely I thought that they were good for like Felgor, and they were good for like big shooting teams. And then there was Into the Dark. I mean, obviously, Chris had to play a lot of Into the Dark in order to win the whole thing, right? So and they proved that GW did the right buffs to make him good on Into the Dark, because he crushed some stuff. I don't know if they had to play Felgor, if it in either Mike or them or Chris did. But I find the funniest thing was semifinals was Higher Tech Circle versus Higher Tech Circle, Pathfinders versus Pathfinders. Those were like the top 4 teams. And then you obviously took the win in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And then Chris took the mirror into Cortez. But the 2 people who secured the golden ticket from this event was Chris Bakke with Pathfinders, and then best overall was Mike Cortez. Very well deserved. He had a beautifully painted team and diorama, and he got 5th place. And so best overall is a score mixed with hobby, and he crushed it. So they both got golden tickets, and I just find it funny that 2 Pathfinder players won the golden tickets.
100% of the Pathfinder players there.
If there were three people playing at this 3 Pathfinder players, they would have found a way to give a 3rd golden ticket out to another Pathfinder.
Of course,
just so they can win it for sure.
For the greater good was GW's motto this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I actually have an idea of how to nerf them. I don't know if they actually deserve a nerf. Let's see here. So their statistics currently, I will say they were, before this weekend happened, they're sitting at a 44% win rate. And then Chris Bakke and Mike Cortez played them really, really well, and they jumped up to a 49% win rate. So I don't think it was just them. I think some other people in the world also played them. They have a total of 165 games, 84 wins. And I think their average score per game is 15.76. Their average placement rating, which is actually relatively low, is 22%. So it really only Chris's win added to that, and they have 2 tournament wins total this patch, and 5 total placings and 1 undefeated count. So Chris is the only person to go undefeated at a GT or a 16 player event, 4 rounds with them this data slate. So some people might just say Chris Bakke is busted.
-1 Chris.
Yeah, -1 Chris, and maybe -1 Cortez, because if Chris wasn't there, Cortez might have taken it all. Cortez did beat Orion Wilfong, the Gellerpox menace. The stats are really interesting currently. We only see Gellerpox and Wormblade above that 55% threshold. They're both at 55%, which is relatively healthy for the game. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams below the 45% win rate line. Even Compendium is above. No, I lied. Compendium's at a 44%. So Compendium is lumped in with them. So I guess there's nine teams that are below the win rate that we would want to see. And that would be Exaction Squad, Nemesis Claw, Blades of Cain, Hearthkin Salvagers, Navy Breachers, Farstalker Kinban, Legionary, Scout Squad, and Intercession in dead last.
Rip.
Even Strike Force Justian is at a 45.83%.
Wow, really?
They only have 6 total games.
Oh, okay, that's cute as hell, but I get it.
They only have 6 total games. But hey, good job, Justian, to make sure that Justian does not get a buff.
They never will. I fully expect them to disappear in the future.
Yeah,
as sad as it is, I like the concept of the team.
So currently, Pathfinders do have a 49% win rate, but we saw Chris pilot them to, to such high standards. They're great on, just like Phobos are great on Octarius. They're great on Octarius. Leander, what do you think? Do you think that Pathfinders need a nerf?
Yes. I mean, Chris is an incredible player. He got 3rd at the first World Champs, and either him or Orion was the best player at this tournament. I'm not sure which of them, but
you're selling yourself and you're selling Mike Cortez and who got there's a couple good players there. But go ahead.
Yeah, but so probably half of the win was Chris being Chris, and half of it was Pathfinders being busted. With Marker Lights, their base gun, 4 attacks, 3 up, 4/5, double balanced, no cover, ignore obscuring, and then the fact that they just got the recon drone back for no cost, and then with recon sweep, they have a 21-inch threat range first activation. They're too much right now.
I would agree. They are a little too much right now. They're very fun to play against. At least players that are really good at this team, they are fun to play against, which is sarcastic.
They're fun. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not fun to play against. I'll be honest. The times I've played against Pathfinders are not fun to play against.
Yeah. So, it was I had a lot of fun. How about you, brother? Did you have a lot of fun?
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a really well-run tournament. I liked all of the boards except for the hamburger deployment one.
Fair.
Because Giacomo, that one was, it had 2 objectives behind heavy terrain, which is, I guess that's sort of the standard, but those 2 objectives were just, you could only have a millimeter of your base behind them in safety. So it was with the cover lines, it was effectively all 6 objectives not behind heavy terrain. And so that was just a shooting gallery. And that was the one that
you could also fit 2 25 mil bases on a vantage on one of the sides.
Yeah.
Did Chris take that side?
Chris, yeah, I made a bad mistake in my game against Chris, and I chose attacker, and he chose defender and took the goods, and then he picked the good side. Yeah, but that's the board where I lost to Chris's Pathfinders, and Orion lost to Mike's Pathfinders.
I'm going to tell you what, any shooting team who took that side, the other team almost just didn't have a chance. I played against a Warp Coven player on that map as well. And I could just sit up there and just control 3, and then I could into the breach, the sniper and the spotter, which the spotter doesn't need to be up there anymore. But I used him to rain down the mortar onto Zangor heads, but that's besides the point.
You actually use the mortar barrage?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you some secrets about these guys that I've been now that I've been playing them. I think I have a couple cool things. Braden was the guy who I was playing against, and it was I had the good side of the board, so it was really difficult for him to play into me. And it was a very, he played it as well as he could, and he got like an indirect blast onto my leader. And I was like, I thought you said you couldn't shoot me because of I thought, all right. I thought they had no obscuring for the thing, but I was still in cover. And he was like, no, it's indirect. And I had a brain fart, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean? He's like, it's indirect. And I was like, yeah, you can't shoot me because I'm behind cover. He's like, it's indirect. And I was like, oh, you're right. Oh, shit. Because when you're playing the game, even as a TO, dude, like sometimes you'll just forget, like, how does a door work? You know?
Dude,
like,
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that map was really, really rough. And then there was a diagonal map that was like you couldn't get out of one side of the deployment very easily. And then I think which was do you call it pizza, diagonal, cheese? What
Just cheese.
cheese, nacho cheese deployment? What do you call it, brother? Do you call it grilled cheese, quesadilla?
I think nacho makes the most sense.
Oh,
it's shaped like a
You're a
nacho.
nacho
You're
man.
a fucking nacho man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not a piece of pizza, that's for sure. That would.
Oh my God.
Whoa, just smashing you down.
Shots fired. Shots fired. You're going to make all those nacho fanboys super happy on this podcast. Giacomo's a quesadilla man, and I am a pizza man. But that's besides the point.
I can understand quesadilla, but pizza is just madness.
I will send you a video. I literally made triangular shaped pizzas. In fact, I'm gonna like you can make a pizza into anything. You can make a pizza calzone. You could cut a pizza into fucking triangles. You can sculpt a pizza as a triangle. Like who says like the right shape is a circle? I mean, you could say that nacho ballparks, are also fucking circular. I don't know. I'm just colorblind. I'm not shape blind. You know what I mean?
Damn, you really felt that one.
I did. Hold on. I'm gonna send. Let's get his reaction here. All right. I'm gonna send this to you on Discord.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Let's. I don't know if you can watch it while we're streaming, but let's see what you think.
What is that? That's not real pizza. No,
that's a real pizza, and it was good.
I ate the pizza.
It does look good, yeah.
It was delicious. And I made one for Giacomo and myself.
Yes, so you could prove the deployment existed.
Exactly. Proof in the pie. Some people would call
I like that. That's a good one.
Thanks. Because some people call it pie or trombolone or whatever the fuck it's called.
I still don't think it's a pizza deployment, but whatever. If that's what you want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he'll give you a free pizza, then
I get more angry about pizza discussions than I do about Kill Team itself.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you this worked up before.
Other than Pathfinders,
Oh yeah, of course. Well, Pathfinders just do that.
You saw me at dinner ranting about my terrain. Pathfinders shall never win. Yeah, but no, man. Is there any other like super big highlight that you had at this event? Did you enjoy traveling across the country?
I don't think so, because traveling is never the fun part of the weekend, but especially this weekend I got patted down by airport security, because when I walked through the machine where you have to throw your hands up and they scan you, they detected something on my person and patted me down, and of course found nothing, because I don't have bombs strapped to my chests, but
laying down that lead pipe. All right, cool. So I also had an interesting event.
I thought you were about to say I also had a lead pipe.
No, I definitely don't. I got like a pistol shooter, All right. So But I also had a very interesting event happen at the airport, Leander. It wasn't just you, my guy. I went there, and they thought my ID was fake, and they wouldn't let me through. And I was like, "Do you want me to tell you every reason why my ID is real?" And because I used to be like a super big time security guard, I know what a fake ID is. But I didn't say anything. You know, I didn't want to get patted down. And I had to wait there for like 15 minutes while they went and got their manager. And then he had to come over and show him how to like tell if it was a fake ID. And he just like rubbed his finger over the front. And I was like, yeah, fake IDs like learned that like like a long time ago. That's not how you tell if it's real or not, my guy. And then they kept trying to take a picture of me, and it kept coming back as like my picture wasn't me. Maybe I just don't look anything like I do on my driver's license. But they eventually let me through. Last time it was they thought I had a bomb in my bag, and this time I had fake IDs. So
whoa, wait, back that up a second. What about the bomb?
So when I was flying back from Nova last year, I had my my kill team in its case, and they thought my kill team was a bomb. And I had to stand there for an hour. I'm so glad that my plane was slightly, or that I got there so early. It was 45 minutes. It wasn't an hour. I'm exaggerating by 15 minutes. So they had a bomb expert sheriff come out and open my bag. And I was like trying to tell them that it was just like a kill team. And so they had to like remove it all gently and like start pulling it out. And I just looked really bored. And then they eventually saw that it was just like laser pointers, dice, and cards. And they're like, oh, what is this? And I was like, I told you it's miniatures for a game I just played. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're free to go. And I was like, thanks. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do the laser pointers have something that come up as a red flag, or?
So apparently if you have batteries in your laser pointer, they can like, they think that's like a detonator or some shit.
Oh,
I have no idea. No idea. But I will say, I had some crazy things happen on the way to the airport. In fact, it happened. I was supposed to leave LAX at 8 a.m. and my flight got delayed. So I called G, you know, he's at work. I'm like, yo, dude, what's up, bro? Like, I'm so fucking tired. I got 2 hours of sleep, my guy. This thing got delayed. And I was like, oh, it got delayed again. I go fuck myself. Oh, it got delayed again. Oh, it got delayed again. Oh, they canceled it. And then I got delayed 2 more times. And then I finally got onto my plane. And then they delayed us on the tarmac. And then we started flying and I just went to sleep. And I woke up when they were like, we're going to be 45 minutes delayed in the air. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going back to sleep. So I went to sleep again. And it was a 13-hour day by the time I got to Texas. But it was all in good times, because let me tell everyone why. We have some breaking news. Huge thing. So I went to Games Workshop's event. I got my ticket early. I talked to Zach and Mike Brandt, who are the head of organized play and head of Games Workshop's events, and got to talking a little bit about the All Valley Team Tournament. And we have 1 ticket for the team tournament. I talked to them, and they found out it was 3 players. So guess what they did, everyone? That's right. They gave us 3 golden tickets for the All Valley Team Tournament this year. We had 54 players last year. Hopefully, we're going to have a bunch more people come out this year. It's a 1v1v1 tournament. 2 players. The first team that gets to 2 wins wins the round. So we had year 1, we had a team that had 1 player lose every single game, but his 2 homies went undefeated. So they won the whole event, right? Then last year, there was a tie at the very end, which made things super crazy and chaotic. It was a lot of fun. So there's nothing like losing with your friends or winning because of your friends, or being like, oh, both of my friends are dragging me down and I went undefeated. These guys, you know, but it's fun, you know, because you can hold it over them for a year. It's good stuff. And then whether you win or lose, you get to go out and eat afterwards as a team, as friends. And this year we're all going to be going to a brewery on Saturday. And it's not just 18 and up or 21 and up. It's an actual restaurant, and we're going to take over their whole back area and eat after the tournament, so everyone can sit there and enjoy their time. It's going to be amazing. I think we have space for 100 people, so really looking forward to it. Leander, does that interest you?
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Sounds like the Garretts could just come and win everything. Bump Liam's golden ticket down to team number 2.
Yeah, actually, the last team tournament my family went to, the Nova one, our strategy was just throw our dad to whoever the best player on their team was, and then Liam and I would just win our game. So we won that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Smart
So
strategy.
we threw our dad to Orion, and so we beat the other 2 players on the other Plasma Spam team.
That's fair. That's super fair. I think on that tournament, I was on Janice's and Jeremy's team. It was a lot of fun. I love both of them. And they're also Plasma Spam members. So Plasma Spam is crushing it this year. So, but going back to Pathfinders. The last thing about All Valley. You can't bring the same faction. So all 3 people have to have a little bit of coordination, right? So you could bring like Compendium Tau and Pathfinders, but you can't bring Pathfinder, because why? We don't want that many blue people in one group, right?
Ooh. This is Vegas.
It's true. It's not Vegas. But you could bring like Intercession, Phobos, Justian, and then come up with a really cool. We also reward hobby quite highly in that event, so people that bring like connected display boards and all sorts of stuff. So it's a ton of fun. And we're also doing the Forged Brush Painting Awards there this year as well, which is a painting tournament in itself. So anyone can come and submit kill team orientated stuff to that. Should be a lot of fun.
Now, when is that, Dakotah?
That is on September 21st and 22nd. It's in northern LA in a place called Santa Clarita. We're trying to get a room block for it as well. So hopefully I just signed all the paperwork for the rental venue this weekend, and I'm trying to get a room block as well. So if I get a room block, I'll make sure that we post updates and tell everyone. But I mean, 3 golden tickets, the event just might sell out. So don't wait to get your tickets, everyone.
Yep. Try to get them now and do what you can. Link is in the show notes, or you can check it out on lestersworkshop.com/squad games.
So question, Leander. What's your nerf to Pathfinders, this 49% win rate team?
Well, the dream would be lose 2 operatives, just nerf them into oblivion. They can't win a single game, but that. So if I had my way, that's what I would do. But my more reasonable nerf would be that they don't just get the recon drone for free. They have to. They can still take their 12 guys, but if they want the recon drone, they have to swap out 2 guys and go to 11.
Okay, so you just want to revert one of the most recent buffs, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, if even after that change, they still might be. Yeah, they still might be too good. It's so crazy. Then one of the biggest problems with them is actually their strategic ploy recon sweep, where all the Pathfinders within 6 inches of each edge of the board get to do a free dash. And so when you factor in that during their activation, their leader already gives them a free dash, then in one turn, in the middle of the game, you can have a Pathfinder going 12 inches and still shooting. So I think limiting recon sweep to once a game would also be a good change.
I think that would be a strong change. I like that one. I have one. Jimmy Kelly, Kimmy Jelly, came up with it, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But give all the Pathfinder gunners heavy.
Oh, that's really interesting.
It's interesting, right? And it doesn't really. One thing I think we've all noticed about Games Workshop is that they really hate to go back and revert things, right? I think we've only seen them actually truly revert, in my recollection right now, one change, and that was the Hunter Clade buff. They just deleted it, and then there might be other ones that they just deleted, but we don't remember them because they just delete them and they don't like have like a cross out or something like that, right? Because it was a mistake. Just makes it's redacted. We should say they redact themselves. Yeah, that was a really interesting thought process rather than just like -1 operative, because that's the joke on the show. I mean, their points and everything and their win percentage really doesn't show that they need a nerf, but Pathfinders, if taken up by the best players in the world, like Leander, if you pick them up, you're just going to do disgusting things with them. I think they really only have one really, really bad counter, and that's Felgor. There are probably some other teams out there that could give them a little bit of trouble, but that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's just such a hard team to pilot. Like if we saw Can You Roll a Crit, pick him back up. We've already seen what Cortez can do with them. We just saw what Baki can. A really, really difficult team to play into. But now I guess we'll move off the train of Pathfinders.
And just one last thing I'd like to say on the topic of Pathfinders is that I think one reason they did so well at this event was because there were no Felgor Ravager players in the top cut. So Chris B was telling me Pathfinder's natural predator was missing from this event, so they just had basically no opposition.
Mm-hmm. You really just had Gellerpox and the Geller King himself, right? Orion Wolfong. Mm-hmm. Obviously, any of the other players could have also possibly done something, but I think the Pathfinder players came out there today and at this event and really, really crushed everyone. But the other team that we haven't talked about that also needs a nerfs is Higher Tech Circle. All the people who are playing those guys, no fucking assholes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah. What did you think playing them, and why did you decide to switch to this team out of all teams? Because I know you jumped off Vetguard because I think it's hard, basically impossible to win with Vetguard in a GT setting, like 35 plus players. Why do you choose Higher Tech? Because obviously you piloted them immensely perfectly, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I really like teams with a bunch of different rules interactions and layers of abilities. So I really like those complex, brainy teams. And so for me specifically, Necrons doing basically having effectively 5 APL with your Necron leader just really appeals to me because they are super hard to play, but once you understand all their complexity and learn how to play them well, they can do so well at tournaments.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair.
That's very fair.
You only lost to Orion, Wolfong, and Chris at the event, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So we're in the same boat. I just lost to one extra person. Both immense players. Landon also took Higher Tech, and he is from Florida, and he crushed it as well. 3rd place. So it went Pathfinders, Higher Tech, Gellerpox Infected, and then Mike Cortez with Pathfinders. Myself in 6th for Veteran Guardsman, Brett in 7th, and then Robert Padan with Mandrakes in 8th. Is there anything at the event that surprised you? I thought Games Workshop did an amazing job. I'm not a big fan of their tiebreaker method. That's the only real thing that I can really say negatively about the tournament. I will say that we can sit here and nitpick terrain all we want. But to be honest, in the version that we're playing, the game that we have now, there's so many teams with so many different abilities. It is insane to actually build maps. There's so many things that you have to keep in mind. Into the Dark is also extremely difficult to make good maps, but it is, I think, way more balanced, even with mandrakes being cracked in it, than open, because open is just like there's too many things to plan around. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I 100% agree that Into the Dark is more balanced, because I'm always relieved when I see I have an Into the Dark board at a tournament, because I know I can't auto lose the game because of a board that's terrible for me, because I know what to expect from Into the Dark. And I actually liked that. I'm a fan of opponent win rate as a tiebreaker.
I don't think that was the win rate or the tie I was talking about. It was the extra rounds.
Oh, the extra rounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I get it, but it's not my favorite.
what would you have the tiebreakers be?
Personally, I allow ties, and I wouldn't do brackets. I'm not the biggest bracket fan. I mean, here's the thing. The reason why I don't do brackets, I was once I found out on game 4 that it was brackets, I was like, oh, I'm 3-0. I just have to score really well here, and I'll probably get top 8. Now it was opponent win percentage, so that was difficult to overcome, but it was still interesting to say the least, right? So brackets are like, once you get in the top 8, you can just be like, oh, I can lose every game and I still get 8th, right? And it's kind of like, that's the mindset that I went into it with. I was like, cool, I can just play for fun tomorrow, because there's no way I'm going to beat some of these guys. I'm still scarred from our game from KTO.
Yeah,
You're breach and clear, you know. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could go through those doors and then blow up a bunch of Edgard. Thank you. But seriously, like, when you're in a bracket, you can never drop out of it. And I think it feels really bad for people outside of the bracket to never like be able to pop up. I'm glad that there was a bracket, because I was like almost guaranteed to play a bunch of people that I really wanted to play. Like, I've been to 4 events with Chris Baki, 5 events, never got to play him. I've been to like 2 or 3 events with Orion, never got to play him. I played you once, not enough. I want to play you again. I wanted to play Mike Cortez. I played Brett again. Brett got his revenge against me because I beat him at KTO. So it was cool to, like, I haven't played a lot of these players in a couple years. So it was really fun to be in a bracket where I could have a 1 in 7 chance to play a lot of these people, right? Rather than a 1 in 40 something chance. But that's just, I made top 8. If I didn't make top 8, I'd be a lot more salty right now. You know, I'd be like, well, I won everything on day 2. That sucks. You know, I got best I can get is 9th. That's why I don't like it. But, but also you can't have ties in a bracket. So I get that you have to have a tiebreaker, and I would probably do, whoever has the most objectives at the end of round 4. Whoever controls the most, but that kind of screws over elites, right? So there isn't a good answer, you know, but I don't know if adding an extra round is the right answer, because the game is not meant to play 5 rounds. You have teams like security. It's like, okay, so now we have to you're planning to hold, you know, the center of the map or seize defenses at the end of the game. And now, like, you have to hold it again. You know, it's just like,
right.
You shouldn't have to be pushed beyond the natural ending state of a game without something else happening. You know, I think it's too hard to like change that outcome. Of course, I don't know if you still score your secondaries on Turning Point 4. I don't know. I never got there, but it just seems more of that's the only thing that I was like, I didn't agree with, you know?
Yeah, and it favors that tiebreaker favors teams like Chaos Cult and Necrons, where their power only ramps up as it gets later and later in the game, because Chaos Cult makes more and more torments, and Necrons keep reanimating their guys. So
Absolutely. Good thing we didn't see any cultists here. They're a very unpopular team at the moment. Yeah, there's 42. There is 42 players, so it's pretty exciting.
Oh, and then on the topic of brackets, I think the person that got screwed the most by that was the guy who won the second place bracket.
Alexander Salazar.
Yeah,
with,
the
First
crew
African
guy.
Band.
Yeah, because so day one, he beat Landon, the Necrons guy that got third place. He beat Landon by 1 point, and his only loss, this crew guy, his only loss in the entire tournament was he lost by 1 day one in a game that didn't finish, and then he didn't make the top cut, and he won all his other games. So
who did he lose to? Was it?
he lost to I'm not sure what his name is, but he got 8th with Mandrakes.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Robert Padan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert was really, really good. Yeah, he was a stellar player. I played him. We were battling for 8th place at the bottom. We both went 0-2, and I came out with the dub in that game. I had a sneaky little strategy. Rob, the hobby Highlander, was there for anyone who spotted him. He was playing games, and he was like, "Here's the secret to beat Mandrakes. Whenever they pop the smoke down on Into the Dark, if you have more models, it's very important. If you have Space Marines, you're fucked. But just move a model into the middle of the smoke, and they can't teleport there. Hashtag easy win."
Yeah. It's a funny move, right?
But that's besides the point. Let's get into some of these games, Leander. I'm excited to hear about your tournament run because we've gone over most else. Oh, no, we didn't. We skipped it. What are we doing to Higher Tech Circle with their 49% win rate? They're right next to Pathfinders. Are we nerfing them or are we leaving them alone?
Oh, come on. Below 50%. They can't be broken.
I will say their placing percentage. I will remind what placing percentage means. However many unique tournaments that they have been to, divided by how many top placings they currently have. And our top placing metrics is top 3 or top 10%. So like LVO would have had 13 people that we would have counted in the top placings. Or if there's a 60-person event, it would be 6 players. At this event, it would be 4 players because there was 42 players. Anything of 30 and under, it's still just 3 players. So they showed up to they've showed up to 30 different tournaments, unique tournaments, which is I think the most out of any other faction, which is interesting. And they have 13 top placings. So they have a 43% placement rating, which is really, really, really high.
Yeah.
The only team that beats them currently in placement ratings is Mandrakes. So I think it's interesting to talk statistics when we're looking at win percentage compared to like over representation ratio to placings. And if you guys want to hear a lot more about statistics and everything, we should have a live show of another Meta Watch done by Squad Games halfway through the data slate with Janice from Plasma Spam and Ben Campbell from Battle Brothers Tabletop and the Kill Team Casuals on Wednesday around 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to tune into that and look at all the statistics, and if statistics bore you, then I apologize. Don't watch it. But I still think that Higher Tech probably need a nerf just because their placing percentage is so high. I know that you might be biased, but I think that the resurrection buff is too much. 2+ is kind of nutty with how much wounds they come back with. maybe like lessen how many wounds they come back with, or turn it back to a 3+. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like the 2-up. Well, I don't like rolling for reanimation at all, and I do agree that coming back with potentially 8 wounds on a 10 wound immortal is too much. So I would very happily trade reduced coming back with reduced wounds, like let's say 5 wounds max, for guaranteed reanimation, and I think that would be an overall nerf, but it would give the Necrons player and the opponent some reliability.
Yeah, because then like this guy is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I could be down with it. But I'm not saying all these teams need to be nerfed. Maybe everything just needs to be buffed. I think that's an actual thing though, right? Like what's interesting is the top of the table, statistic wise, a lot of teams are sitting just about 55% win rate and below. I think there's only 10 teams out of the 30 teams that have above a 50% win rate. Everything else is 49% or below. So there's 20 teams, the 49% win rate or below, which is less than the 50 or the 16 teams that it should be, right? So maybe we just need to buff a lot of things and raise the meta that way, which would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, it does surprise me that Necrons have only a 49% win rate, because they're just so punishing if you make positional mistakes. Because if as against a Necrons player, if you group up for a big blast even once in the game, then boom, their leader flies 12 inches across the board and shoots half your team, and that's the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, how many times did you get that one to go off, Leander?
Let's see.
I know you did it against the Inquisition player. He told me about it.
Yep.
Drew.
Yeah,
we both played Drew back to back.
Yeah, that was
Drew was good too. I felt bad.
Yeah, because he won all his games in his pod, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, playing me and you back to back and losing to us both. He lost to me strictly because he chose the wrong side. And sounds like you got a giant blast off on him. So
yeah, I blasted 5 guys first activation. Because leader, he thought he was safe because he underestimated Necron's bullshit, because there were 2 doors in between my leader and his guys, and Inquisition can stop Necron's ploy where they forward deploy someone and open a door for free, because Inquisition can just shut down your ploys for 1 CP. So I couldn't open the door for free pre-game, so there were 2 closed doors in between my leader and his drop zone. So what I did was I recon dashed my leader, and so first activation I had my death mark move and kick open a door, the first door, and then second activation my leader took an APL from my death mark, went to 4 APL, moved, dashed, opened the second door, and then shot 5 guys, and that was the game.
Wow. Yeah, that's spicy. That's the thing that I'm always worried about from Higher Tech. Like, if you don't play Higher Tech a lot, which I haven't, I think I've only played against them once. That was like the one matchup I was really dreading going to this event, because I'm sorry, Leander, they kind of bore me. I don't like the Necrons. I like Necrons.
Who bores you more, Necrons or Tau?
Oh, Tau by far. For me, the Higher Tech Circle, I wish it was just done differently. They feel like a really weird mystical team, and I just think that I don't know if like Necrons fit that like lore stereotype for me. If that makes any sense, I would love to see them be like murder hobos, you know?
Nah, I think from a lore perspective, Necrons are totally fine, man. The Hyrotech definition is like the leader,
Dude,
you know?
I wanted a Scorpec destroyer, some flayed ones, and like a couple nanobots, you know?
That's not
the
part of his
Necron team
retinue,
I
you
want.
know? That's not his retinue. The leader takes his retinue and he takes all these
Yeah,
like
this
specialist
guy.
dudes. Yeah.
This guy.
That's the comedy of like Necrons, you know? Like all their books with their big leaders being like the thing, you know? The regular warrior's
See,
just a guy.
I want Hyrotech Square to come out, and that's the guys who come out with the
We would sooner seen pariahs come back, you know?
yeah.
But I could see like we were just talking about the flayed ones getting a team too. I don't really know what you'd have your specialists, dudes that dig below the ground.
So do you like the lore about Hyrotech, or are you just strictly playing them because you think they're good, Leander?
I'm not really a big lore guy. I just know, generally what's going on in 40K, but I don't know much specifics. I just think Necrons are good and have a lot of fun playing them. So
yeah. All right. So let's go over some of our games. How far are we into this? An hour? Okay. Let's go over your games, brother. Did you enjoy any game in particular, or is there anything that was like super exciting for you?
Yeah, one game that was a lot of fun was my game against Orion. It was against his Gellerpox on Into the Dark Capture, and so what ended up happening was there were only 2 hallways he could move up, and one was a super narrow hallway where there was no heavy cover. So every turn, for most turns, I had at least 2 guys on guard just staring down that hallway. So if a Hulk wanted, because Gellerpox, their Hulks can't get cover from light terrain, so from barricades. So, and since there was no heavy cover, if a Hulk wanted to move up that hallway at all, it got blasted. So it was a really fun sort of positional trying to control the game.
Cool. I like that. Do you have any like specific Hyrotech like top tier tips that people might not think of?
There is something that actually Orion and Landon didn't know. Orion got 4th, Landon got 3rd. So even amazing players can forget about this. So the Necron leader has an ability called Command, where he can order someone visible to and within 6 inches of him, one of the Necron guys, to do a 1 action point action, so Overwatch or Fight or Open Door or whatever. But what Orion forgot is that the command can originate from the Despotech, from the Necron Lieutenant. So
Okay.
what I often do with Necrons is my first activation, the Lieutenant will run up and shoot someone in the face. And then second activation, so against Orion, my Lieutenant or Despotech ran up, shot his leader in the face, brought him down to 11 wounds. And then Orion forgot that the command can originate from the Lieutenant, because my Lieutenant and the leader were literally across the board, like 20 inches or something from each other. And so Orion didn't deal with the Lieutenant. And so second activation, my leader went and commanded the Lieutenant across the board, because it can originate from the Despotech to Overwatch into Orion's leader. And so I brought his leader down to 1 health with that. So running the Despotech forward and commanding him to Overwatch immediately afterwards is something I had great success with this weekend.
Nice.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Because there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in higher tech. I think that people are like their interests have already been peaking about playing this team and how good they are.
Yes. I know that a lot of people. So, well, first of all, for Cryptex, for the leader choice, you always take the Chronomancer leader, no matter
Mhm.
what. I don't think there's any scenario where anyone else is better. But and for the Chronomancer's psychic powers, the one psychic power that's an auto pick is the extra movement and feel no pain. But a lot of the times people don't think it through, and for the second psychic power, take the nanomine, which reduces enemies' movement and charge. But against shooty teams, I actually think taking the invuln save, the time splinter, instead of the nanomine, is a much better psychic power. Because against Vet Guard, for example, what are they going to do against your 12 wound Despotech with a 3-up invuln save? They're just, how are they going to kill him? And then against
pure luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Belief in the Emperor.
Yeah, so taking the time splinter, the invuln save against shooty teams is something I would strongly recommend.
Okay. The all right. Do you have any others for us?
Let's see.
I'm gonna milk you for everything.
Okay.
If you don't, well, I can move on to some Vet Guard stuff. So just let me know.
Yeah, I don't think I have any other, or well, I guess one that's pretty basic but is essential to having success with Necrons is your reanimator bug. So when I started playing Necrons, I thought, oh, it has super conceal, so I'm just going to throw it forward and take points with it. But as I've played Necrons more and gotten better with them, I realized your reanimator bug has to stay back. It's debatably one of your most important operatives because it doubles the number of reanimations you can have each turn. So
Amazing.
that reanimator bug, keep it back, keep it safe, body block doors with immortals to stop people from getting to it. And if it dies, it's quite often worth your once a turn reanimation to reanimate it, which seems counterintuitive because it's just a bug. But let's say it dies in turn 2, then when it comes back in turn 3, it's going to give you 2 more reanimations, one in turn 3 and one in turn 4. So it will pay off to reanimate it.
That's fair.
Yeah, that little bug carries the team on its back.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I think the thing that I was told to play against them was to kill the reanimator bug. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but okay, I'll kill it. I know what it is, but that's fascinating. That's some good. I think that's some really good tips, especially for people who've probably been playing higher tech or thinking about it. Some really strong things. Anyone that's still considering to play Vet Guard, I still don't think they can win a major. My spotter was surprisingly my MVP in most matches, but not because of the spotting ability. In fact, out of 7 games, I think I did the spotting ability once in 7 games because they got rid of the heavy thing. It would have been way more useful, obviously, if I could still do it behind heavy. But I only got a cheeky shot off against Inquisition throughout all the obscuring and all that kind of stuff. It was a relatively hard shot, but I only got that off. And then the reason why it was mostly my MVP is that sometimes I would do the barrage every now and then, but usually it would just stand on points, wouldn't die. In fact, against my game that I lost to Hearthkin, I'll tell you why Hearthkin beat me. I still think only really good players are going to pilot them to success, because I still think they're a B tier team, even though I lost to them. I think Vetgar's also B tier, maybe not C tier. I can't say that anymore. But yeah, it was difficult. Oh, so the spotter, I gave them the escort operative, so scored me a bunch of points throughout the whole tournament. I had a plasma gunner from Inquisition come up, roll all of its dice, only hit once, did 3 mortal wounds to himself. I saved it. Sniper turned around, killed him, and then I charged an endurant, killed him with the spotter, and then in melee, yes. And then the pistolier came up to kill my spotter and killed himself and killed the spotter. It was fucking awesome. Outside of that, it was the hardened veteran all day. The hardened veteran with the rosary just surprised so many people, stayed alive so many times when it shouldn't have, and also 1v1'd a Mandrake leader with clear the line and re-rolling ones to hit. So pretty spicy. And yeah, we both had rosaries, so we rosaried each other, and then I did 9 damage because I had a crit. So it was a huge swing into Vetguard's favor. But I think Vetguard, I definitely felt the nerfs against Chris's Pathfinders. I would have been so much more useful if my demo man could blow up through walls and have a 3-inch bomb. He wouldn't have been able to take the center or do any of that. I could have turning point 3 moved up and blown up. Spotter could have been way more useful. You definitely feel the nerfs. The team is way worse than it used to be, way worse. But as long as you still play the team correctly in the right activation order, you can still win. I mean, I think I proved that obviously enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think even before the nerfs, it was a bad matchup for Vetguard Pathfinders.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm going to try next is I'm actually going to take hand axes. I took into my Mandrakes matchup, I went 23 to 11. I took 4 hand axes and I took a rosary. So yeah, it was spicy. So, but the reason why is hand axes can do a lot of work, and sometimes having that threat of a charge will keep a Pathfinder a little bit be like, oh, well, if I don't kill him here. Of course, in that game, Chris rolled every hit, and I think I made 4 saves throughout the whole game. I'm not going to blame dice. Pathfinders kill me in 2 hits, so it's not like I would have been able to do anything anyways on a 5-up save. It was great. Did you feel the same? How many? It's a normal Pathfinder operatives doing 4 or 5 damage against your higher techs immortals.
Yeah, well, that normally that wouldn't be a problem because I save on
3s.
I save on 3s, yeah, but there was one notable roll where we were gonna have a really close game, Chris and I thought, and this was in turn 2, so my leader was behind cover. He had given himself the 3-up invuln, and so Chris shot his gunner into my leader from across the board, hitting on a 4-up, and then he got, I think, a crit in 3 hits.
Whoa.
And so I thought, okay, it's fine, to live. All I need is I just need 2 saves on a 3-up. I have my invuln, I have everything, and then I rolled 3 1s, and my leader died, and that was the game. Because Necrons without their leader they can't do anything.
Yep, that's rough, brother. That is no bueno. That is no bueno. Giacomo, is there anything that you want to know specifically before we wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, how long were the rounds?
They were 2 hours.
Oh, okay. They didn't do the super big ones.
There was there was a couple rounds that just went a tad over, but they were for really good reasons. I think there's only 2 rounds that really went over time.
Makes sense. No, I can't think of anything else that I'd want to know that you didn't already kind of describe.
That's fair.
What was
That's
your
fair.
guys' favorite paint job there? Not just the winners, but like the things you saw.
There's a Felgor Ravager player who won Best Painted. He had a beautifully painted team. There's an Orc Commandos team there, also beautifully painted. My favorite painted team there was Mike Cortez's. He had a really cool story and theme. He had a red and black Pathfinder team from the Farstalker kin band, not Farstalker, Farsight Enclave. Like their special ops are red and black, and he had like a downed
Stealth suit,
and like they were all like converging around him for a recover item. It was very thematic, snow. It was really cool, really well thought out.
Cool.
My favorite of the tournament.
I also really liked Mike's, and I'd also like to shout out Orion's paint jobs because he painted his Gellerpox with this sort of green glowing effect that I think he did with an airbrush, and it just looks so good, and they stand out from the tabletop, and yeah, they look really nice.
There's a lot of people that kept interrupting his games to get pictures of his Gellerpox.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of really good painted models there. A lot of GW models too.
I had him at a GW event.
Yeah. I spent a long time on my team there too, and I was very pleased with how they came out. So I'm happy about my performance there. I had a lot of fun. There's literally zero negatives of the entire tournament. Ben did an amazing job TOing. It was really awesome too, because there's so many controversial rules between the new teams to be like, ask him questions, be like, hey, how would you rule this? How would you rule that? How would you rule this? And just be like, get, his rulings so that, we can apply them to some of the squad games tournaments. And I just don't agree with one of them. But I think his reasons of why it was in Midnight Clad one. We played it raw at the tournament, which is you can flip them over from Vantage and you can flip them from Vet Guard. And the reason why is because if you would change it without like a raw interpretation, people would probably play it as super conceal. So, and I think that's very valid. So, and I don't even know. I think it's rules intended, but it's also like we don't know if it's rules intended, right? And obviously we want to play raw as much as possible. So it's probably going to be the way forward until we can hopefully get an update or a clarification from Games Workshop officially, because again, all of these outside rulings are just suggestions; they're not official rulings. So. But Ben is one hell of a guy. Let me tell you what, he's my favorite TO. So I don't know if anyone could argue with me on that one. But he's so humble. He's such a good dude. And then I can't be happier with Games Workshop giving us 3 golden tickets, for one event. It's fucking amazing. It's huge. I hope everyone else is excited. Dude, I was calling Giacomo and my wife. I was screaming on the phone. We got it.
Quite a lot.
We fucking got it. Let's fucking go. It was dope. It was a lot of fun. So, and then I also got to hang out with my buddy Ronnie every night. I got to go back and play TFT and Wild Rift with my homie, stay up till the wee hours of the morning, wake up, get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, make bad decisions, It was sick. It was a great time. Yeah. I got to be so irresponsible.
Now you can be irresponsible here in California.
Yeah, sure can. And then this weekend we have the Bay Area Championship.
Yep. So if you're in the Fairfield area nearby, feel free to get yourself a ticket for the 2-day event. Come around, play some Kill Team, maybe be on stream.
Mm-hmm. So Leander, is there anything that you want to shout out, brother?
I think I'd like to shout out Ben for, like you were talking about, being such a great TO and walking around and checking in with all the players, not just the top players, to make sure their games were going good and if they had any rules questions. So, yeah.
Yeah, he was extremely knowledgeable too. It was a great time. Yeah, I've been to tournaments before where the TOs were not as knowledgeable, and it does make a huge difference. So, Games Workshop's always going to be the best at that. So very, very exciting.
I do have one more shout out. I'd like to shout out. I actually, my little brother and I have a podcast.
Hell yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's called Woodley Warriors Kill Team, and it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And right now we're working on a series about the math behind Kill Team, and we're talking about expected value and sunk cost and stuff like that. So we'll have that out soon, within a week or so. So you guys should check it out.
It's an amazing podcast done by two very, very smart guys. So, and then next time we're going to have to get your brother or your dad on here, talk a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Finally get that Phobos episode.
Yeah, finally get the Phobos episode with the fabled Mark Garrett, So, is there anything else you want to shout out, man?
Of course, you can join the conversation on Discord. Our Discord link is in the description. You can talk about Kill Team, talk about whether you think it should be pizza, quesadilla, grilled cheese, or some other triangular food shape. Share your progress pictures of the stuff you like. Different models is cool. You can always do that there. And if you want to support us in a more personal way, you can join our Patreon members. We always really appreciate them doing what they do. They help a lot of this happen. They help us make a bunch of fun videos for YouTube as well, just like the Hobby Highlander series. It's currently on its second episode, which you can watch right now. Link is also in the description. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram under wargaming_studios, where I occasionally post things that I paint.
That is fair. And I would love to shout out Hobby Highlander. It's our YouTube series where we blindly test paints so that you don't have to and find out what is the best. I think we've recorded 6 episodes, and we're working on getting number 3 to you and number 4 shortly thereafter. And I think we record 7, 8, and 9 at the beginning of this month. So we're going to see War Paint fanatics finally join the talks, and we're going to do yellow and red for those 2 episodes. So going to be super exciting. Looking forward to it. And I'd also like to shout out again the Woodley Warriors podcast. It's very entertaining, and it's a fun one. And I wish you put out more episodes, Leander.
Oh, it's so much schoolwork, Dakotah.
I know. Yeah, one day when you leave school, I'll be here. I'll be here waiting with open ears, my friend.
Mm-hmm. I can be a full-time kill teamer also then.
Yeah, let's go. Don't let your dad listen to this. All right, brother. Well, I thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you to Plasma Spam and yourself for being such a pillar of the community. It's so great to see young men like yourself being raised so well in the hobby, competing, doing well. It's inspiring, I think, to a lot of people, including myself. And I would love to be beat by you again one of these days.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Dakotah. And
Absolutely.
Thank you, Giacomo.
Of course. Thank you for coming on.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Until next time, everyone.
See ya.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
The Squad Games podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lestersworkshop.com/squad-games.